What's up, everybody? It is Matt from Electric All Wheel. Another hot, humid day here in Florida. But today we have the 48 volt, 20 amp hour, 750 watt rear hub mag wheel electric Freesky Boulevard. This is a folding 20 incher. We are going to add a second battery with the Electric All Wheel 40 amp dual battery discharge balance kit. And we are going to strap it to the down tube here with the bike case bottle cage strap adapters and the addition of some 5M screws. This is a folding e-bike, so if you're thinking about that, keep that in mind, a folding 20 incher, and we're going to add another 15 amp hours to the already factory 20 amp hours to get us some high mileage. Stick around to the end of the video for the range calculations. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. We'll be utilizing the Mica toll constant. And if you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. It is our primary. And if you're in the area, check out e-bikes of Tampa Bay, Florida. Get in that Facebook group, make an event, and go for a ride with your friends. Listen, if you're local and you're in there and you're looking for a ride, make the ride. That's all you have to do. Here we go. Okay, so straight away I'm seeing XT90 connectors, which is normally for a higher voltage bike. So we're gonna look and see what this is. So it's 22 amps. So what is common is that the manufacturers will try and make their own unique connectors, so you are isolated to their factory parts. And don't worry, we are going to utilize the XT60 to XT90 adapters out of our premium 12 AWG extension set. Now, you don't need these. You can probably go on Amazon and get a nice cheap set of XT60 to XT90 adapters, but we have them in our premium cable set, so we'll leave a link for this in the description. So we're just going to unplug that. From here, we're going to take our 40 amp kit. And then I can get, so I'm going to see if I can manipulate this. I have room over the top of the balancer if it's in there, and then on the left hand side here, or if I can, I'll just push the controller over and try and get some wiring in there. So I'm still going to look at this with the addition of the adapters. It may be a little tight, but I feel that room right over the top is nice and big, so we'll probably push some back there. First thing I want to do is go ahead and pull this controller out. And now I need to get the male end of an XT60 cable up into the housing. So what I did was kind of close the bike a little bit to give myself some slack in the cables below. There we go. There's my cable end. All right, XT60 to XT90 adapters. Don't worry, you can't really mess this up, just put them on. .40 amp balancer. And then again, just plug in as it works. Remember, you have the cable male XT60, and that will go into female and that's input side of the balancer here. So the one thing that's left is out to the controller, and we know that that's the male XT60, and there it is. We're going to plug it in. All right. Go ahead and get this controller in there. I'm going to put that balancer over the top. And now I'm going to shift it to the side and then just kind of run these adapters right down the side so they're out of the way. And so right now I'm just making sure that none of the cabling is looped into it so that when I push it back, it's free on its own. There's that. And then right now I'm going to undo the cable that I brought up in here and then just kind of free it up from all the other cables, and I'm going to put it right back together and do the exact same thing. Okay, and then remember there's a ton of room over the top of the balancer. There we go. Now, if you get into a position where you feel like you can't get the balancer inside this controller access port, then you would just simply run another extension up under here, make the connections with the adapters, leave the balancer out, use the excess space in that box, and then you would take your two cables that would be external to the bike now, and then you would plug in your balancer and then plug in your extra battery to that. And to that end, we would use something like this bike case bag to hold it, and we would probably put it somewhere in here and then run the cables up to it, and then that would work. So right in there, and then we would mount our balancer external and it should be fine. But we like to put the balancers internal whenever we can, and that way it makes it a more permanent feel, more factory look. Let's check to see that we have power. And we do. It is lighting up. That is good. So we're going to go ahead and close this up. All right, before we get all crazy with it, we're going to go ahead and remove our factory battery and then test for power on our second battery. Make sure this battery is on, and it is. And there we have it. It is powering up, so that's good. So I'll go ahead and unplug this, get my wire through this bottom, and then run it up through right here in the frame, right behind that suspension connection. Go ahead and reinstall my factory battery. All right, for this application, we are going to add this down tube battery. Now, one thing I need you to recognize is that I have mounted these bike case bottle cage strap adapters here onto the mount. One thing you have to note is that these are different screw heads than what come with the strap adapters, and that's so that the battery can slide over them on the plate. On this rear one, there's actually one, and that's the factory screw that came with the strap adapters and it was used. So we'll leave a link. You might be better off getting your 5mm screw from Home Depot, Ace, Lowe's, etc. This is the cage strap adapter, and as you can see, that screw head is just a little too thick for it to slide over. We also have some extra wide straps. This is because the Freesky body is so big. Keep in mind the anywheres are long enough to actually make it around, but you might want excess strap on them, and we're going to use them. What we would ultimately do is cut these, but since we're only demoing this, we're not going to cut them, but you'll see the principle and see how it will work. So right now we're just going to adapt these straps. We're going to add extras right here to the side, and we're turning them so that the sticky side is so the sticky side will wrap around the body, so you can see the texture on here. So again, I would normally cut these, but I'm just trying to take up as much slack out of them as possible. You'll notice when we strap it on, it will be a little bare, but this is to prove the point that this is to prove that you can actually get the extra slack, and then this would slip in here just like normal. Okay, you'll notice I'm free of the charging port here, so that's a good thing. When I make my connection, I'll actually be able to fold the bike if I absolutely have to with this battery connected. So now I'm just going to go ahead and plug in my connector. And then we're a big fan of these Tidy Helper clips. So we're going to get a couple of these. And then I just like to slip it on. And then right here is the frame weld. So I'm going to try and see if I can get it. There we go, just like that. There we are. Okay, and then one last move is I'm going to zip tie this cable with the other cables down here at the bottom. Well, there you have it. We have successfully installed a 40 amp universal dual battery discharge balance kit internal to the bike, and then mounted a second 48 volt 15 amp hour battery for some extended range with this. We did not end up using the second XT60 extension cable that came with the kit. Also, we utilized our own XT60 to XT90 cable adapters or adapters from our premium 12 AWG extension cable kit, which you don't need, but if you do end up running an extension or you prefer to have 12 AWG and you get that kit, you will have the XT60 to XT90 adapters. We'll leave a link in the description below for some Amazon XT60 to XT90 adapters that will work just fine, and you don't have to get the premium kit, but it's there if you want it. Now, I know a lot of you stuck around here for the range calculation, so let's get to that. The original battery is 20 amp hours and the second battery is 15, so 20 plus 15 is 35. Multiply that by 48 and you get 1,680 watt hours. You're going to divide that by 25, and 25 is the Mica toll constant, which says it's 25 watt hours per mile ridden at 20 miles an hour throttle only, and you get 67.2 miles for your Freesky Boulevard. This thing will go the distance. It does have dual suspension, 30.9 millimeter seat post. If you're interested in adding a suspension seat post on top of your rear suspension, we'll leave a link for that. We recommend the bike case post, and we'll have a link to that bike case suspension seat post in the description below. This is an exceptional amount of range. We like the color and style of this bike. We like the mag wheels, and we like the color display. And now we're going to take it out and test it. We love doing the ride tests with these. You do have somewhat of an obstruction. You're going to have to raise your foot higher to get through and utilize the step through feature, but there is still some there, so keep that in mind. And then honestly, I would probably get a new seat for this bike. Other than that, we're really happy with it. The Tidy Helper cable clips are coming in handy with being able to hold and manage the cabling coming off the battery. Remember, you are not isolated to this position or that battery. You can have any 48 volt battery you want. Check out our recommended battery list. You can put it on the rear rack. It's the amp hours that make the distance. Amp hours are capacity, distance, and money. They cost money. So the more amp hours, the more expensive your battery is going to be. Keep that in mind. You want XT60 connectors, your BMS, to be able to handle the max current limit of the bike. And you saw that on this one. I think it was 22. So not that big of a deal. Typically, these are 30 or 40 amp BMS max current on the batteries, so you're good there. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. It is our primary, and if you're in the area, check out E-Bikes of Tampa Bay, Florida. Get in that Facebook group, make an event. You need to make the event so you can invite the people out and they know what's happening, and then go for a ride with your e-bike friends. We'll talk to you next time.